Hey, do you think the choir could use a guy?
Okay, one for you, it will be here.
Morning, Dave.
I
He didn't hear you.
My mind's a million miles away from this. Right now.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
Yep. And we have one more. Who doesn't have one? Here we go. You guys can share? You okay?
Yeah,
Sherry?
we can share.
I hope you guys are friends. Okay, so, good morning again. Good to see you all.
Morning.
Okay, so the last time we have the meeting, I think a couple weeks ago, I felt the need that I told you a lot of things and most of you probably didn't understand what it means about OSA, equipment, so forth and so on. So the first page, it says OSA, if you looked at, you see that, OSA? Okay, so that's what I explained to you the first time, that I did some research, and here on the red it says that, you know, no employee or other than employment engaged in roofing work on a low slope roof. That's per OSA, that's the code that they used on their estimate, which is, that's very important as well too for the attorney, if you guys have one that you're using, on line number 2 of their estimate. Okay, it says per OSA, no, I don't have the estimate there. I didn't make a copy that you guys have it.
Does everybody have that?
Yeah.
I didn't make a copy of that because you already have the invoice from Greenwald. So on line number 2, it says here per OSA 1826-5028, and I explained that over here why that's not supposed to be applied in their estimates. The reason I'm doing that is because she agreed, Connie, which is the emails after that, the other copies you guys have, the attachments are emails between me and Connie Greenwald and me and Travis Greenwald, okay? And I tell you the reason why I brought those emails, and I can forward that to the attorney if you guys want also that too. So, they put that note there, and I wasn't aware in the beginning, and I said, okay, no problem, we can see what we can do about that. But then after they started getting into more details, I started looking more, scratching more the surface, getting deeper and deeper, I realized that that code does not apply to your roof. Why is that? For people that weren't here. That code applies only to a flat roof. Hospitals, Home Depot, Lowe's, hardware stores, they have flat roof. Why is that? When you have a flat roof, you have equipment like HVAC equipment, you have plumbing equipment, so forth and so on. So people with licenses go up there. So one competent person per OSA has to be able to tell them, you're close to the eave. You cannot go too close to the eave because you might fall, step back. Or if when they're leaning towards on the top of the flat roof and they're leaning over to fix something, lights, any front lights of the store, make sure you come back a little bit because your weight now goes over, you might fall off and hurt yourself. That's what the competent person is as per OSA. It doesn't have to be licensed, but competent person to tell the electrician or plumber or any technician that have licenses to make sure they're not too very close to the eave or fall off the eave. On a flat roof only. You got here over 12 pits. You got 20 pits. What that means is that those perimeters now, they don't apply. Because this person is already outside those perimeters. They have to wear rope and harness and have anchors or nets to do the installation of the roof. So they agreed about that's a mistake. So what they did after that, I say here on my second paragraph, hold on a second, the also state roof is working the high pitch for the commercial supervision. Then they changed it to the commercial supervision project management line item per exactament. And if you read the details, which I have it on details, you can't really see it because it was a copy that they sent me. It's exactly the same thing for overhead and profit. ONP we'll call it into the works. And ONP applies again if it's 3 trades or more. For example, this room gets damaged. You have the here you have the ceiling, the walls, and the carpet. You have 3 trades, right? You got drywall, plaster, electrical to detach the fan, to take it down, not damage it. Put the plaster, then you have the carpet to replace. You have 3 trades. On that, you need a general contractor. I'm not expecting one of you to be like, when are you going to be here, Mr. Electrician? Okay, then you call the plumber, where are you gonna be here, where are you gonna be? You can't do that. So you need one guy to manage all those three trades people to come in a certain time. Why is that? Because time is money. So the guy has to come here for the ceiling first, because he's gonna drop the plaster, then the walls second, and then the carpet. You can't be, how long is gonna do this? 2 weeks, great. In 2 weeks, the guy's gonna call the other guy, already scheduled it. So that's the general contractor is doing, and his pay is overhead and profit on the top of what the total estimate is for the work. So if the work is $10,000, 20% is $2,000. He's gonna get that for doing these calls, make sure it's arranged, and also debris removal schedules as well too, if it's, especially for the roof like that. Okay, so that's where O&P comes from, comes in when you have 3 trades or more. We'll have here one roof. It's only one trade, and Mr. Greenwood's pushing for O&P. Okay? So, based on that, we cannot really apply O&P, which on this roof, 20% is over $20,000. It's actually $40,000. And understanding why he wants that, because it's $30,000, right? But it doesn't apply. And here I explained, because I remember the last time you guys were looking at me like, okay, I understand, but having it writing is a lot better than actually tell you guys verbally. So I think that was another extra work that I did. The heavy equipment, if you look, the red is part of the emails that you have the attachments here. She says here, Mrs. Conner replied and says, the cost of the forklift boom lift are modified on the components list to match our quotes from the rental company. Okay? Let me repeat that again. The cost for the forklift boom lift are modified on the components list to match our quotes from the rental company. I got emails here and asked Mr. Travis, can you please send me the copies of the rental company Sunbelt, which he has here on line number 3. Both occasions, besides he insulted me a couple of times, he said we're not entitled of sending you guys those equipment. And coming here to this meeting, you guys confirm you have one forklift or cherry picker sitting there for a couple of weeks, and he hasn't actually used the potty as well too. Okay? So I have that here as well too. So he denied to send this rental company, as he claimed that he has it for 2 weeks, so forth and so on.
Yeah, and a question, like, it says they needed to access the cones, but they actually had wooden steps,
And
and they didn't use the boom for
Absolutely,
that.
and
you know?
I will go with that,
Yeah.
I will go with that, especially later on. And this is, by the way, I'm sorry, this also here, reports that you guys have, is the report that I sent it to your desk adjuster in the carrier. Is deduct a couple things that I'm not allowed until I get permission from him to, but this is the meat over here that you have it. Explain to Peter, what's happening in the investigation that I did, and I looked at the other also officers as well too. On the next page, under the OLSA, is an email that Mr. Greenwald, of course blaming me, anybody else but himself, blaming me about a lot of things, including that I don't know how to write estimates, so forth and so on. And then on the last, you can read that yourself your own time, I don't want to take your time here. On the last paragraph, on the red, it says here, from a previous email, if you would like to accept our contracted price minus the lift cost, I have it underlined, until you receive more clarity, that's fine, but that's not where we stand. Where we are, sorry. And I on the top I said, please attach a correct estimate including OIP minus the equipment that that info may be requested, which I did request it, but he didn't want to give it to me, he didn't want to send that to me. So other things he said here, that the timing, so forth, so you guys can take the time to read this. I'm transparent, I have those emails also attached to the other attachments here, so you can read that, take your time to read that. ONP, go to ONP after that, is exactly what I explained to you guys before. Overhead and profit is when a general contractor would charge as a line item on repair and construction estimates. The question is, the insurance loss will require a general contractor, as a common rule of thumb, is to allow ONP if 3 or more trades are involved in the repair work. I did a research on that in many different Googles, and that's, everybody says the same exact thing. And it's not like a common law, it's more common sense that they're using on the field, and everybody knows that, right?
Like a common practice.
It's a common practice that people use, 3 trades or more. And they use that across the board, across the whole nation, every many different insurances. Some people have 4 trades or 5 certain insurances that I'm working for. But usually 3 is the most common thing, which again, I want to, something you guys, you can use to tell Mr. Greenwald what's going on here. And then the other thing I wanted to emphasize is calculation hours. This is very important. Why? Because Mr. Greenwald priced everything per 2 weeks, 14 days, okay? And I did a research of that as well too, and there's some links there, which I'm more than welcome to send you guys those emails, again, with those links as well too. And it says here that the below examples of this is okay. So let's go to the red lettering here on page number after, you guys, you're here with a couple of links that I said? Okay. It says here, let's say you have a moderately complex roof of 2,000 squares. Every 100 is 1 square, okay? We count and we measure the roofs per squares, okay? So it says about this 20 squares. You're an experienced roofer and the weather is favorable. On an average, you can install 1.5 squares per hour. These 2 links that I found is confirm this. And also ask other roofers in the area that said usually 15 squares per day they can do. 15 squares. Here it says you
For
can
one
do...
person,
No, 50 squares
crew.
total in 8 hours.
for one person.
For one person,
Yeah.
yes. Then this example here from the link, I copy, total roof 2,000 square feet, 20 squares, your speed 1.5 squares per hour, 1.5, okay? That's very crucial here. Estimate square per day is 1.5 squares hours, 8 hours a day is 12 squares, okay? In this scenario, you can realistically single about 12 squares a day, which most contractors that I talked to, Florida, Maryland, Pennsylvania, one guy over here, and I think it was in Texas, they told me 12 to 13 squares per day is very reasonable. Okay, fine. I use the same formula for here, okay? We'll have 126 squares, a lot of squares, big roof as well now, right? 12,600 squares. Your speed is 0.5. And I explain in parentheses, decrease the speed due to complexity. Not 1.5, but 0.5, right? 4 squares per day times 6 roofers. In his estimate, he says he's using 6 roofers. I hope the experience, right? Okay. That comes to 24 squares. You multiply that by 24, divide by the number of squares, 126, it comes to 5.25 days total. This is what I did. Our calculation shows that the church's roof could be installed in 5 days, considering the complexity and the number of the roofers the contractors utilized. However, the estimate reflects 7 days. I increased the estimate. Total numbers of hours indicated in line 2, 3, and 5, heavy equipment and equipment operator. So that reflects also 7 days for the heavy equipment and the operator that he used as well per, that he said he rented. We, as an adjusters, we understand that this roof is complexity, and we give them the heavy equipment. Even though he didn't apply, he didn't give us the proof, we still have to include it because of the complexity roof. He still needs the high lift, so forth. So we give that to them. Okay, it's not we say, no, give us the invoices. It doesn't work that way. The right thing to do is use the heavy equipment for the safety of your crew, and use also a porta potty, because 7 days, hey, they're drinking a lot of water, they come down, where they're gonna go, right? For the sake of your crews too. If you're good, I guess, if you, somebody that actually wanted to be good to your crew, you should treat them very nice as well too, to have someone to relieve themselves. So then in conclusion, I say here, this writer reconciled with the roofer the number of the materials to repair the roof. The materials only. In addition, this writer did include heavy equipment operator for 7 days, regardless the lack of cooperation from the contractor to provide evidence that indeed rent that equipment from Sunbelt Rental, stated in line number 3 of his estimate. This writer also, which is me, the writer, also included supervision hours of 7 days to oversee the roof installation. Even though we're not supposed to do the supervision, he mentioned a couple times that some of you guys from the board, they requested that because of the you guys have school here? Okay, and I said, okay, no problem, if they requested it, I will put that in also as well too. So I'll put that for 7 days as well, supervision hours. With supervision hours, as I said earlier, matches exactly the same thing what the OMP means, okay? But we'll include that as well, not a problem, 60 days, okay? Which, however, this writing did not include the OMP, as the roof installation does not pertain to multiple trades and supervision hours were already included by the contractor, okay? Furthermore, this writing did include the temporary toilet as it is customary and reasonable due to lengthy installation, regardless of the church's board members' input, 325 March, that the roofer did not utilize the temporary toilet for the crew. So now your estimate jumped again another, I think, $4,000 to a total of 179 from 172 that I had the first time. Has to be reasonable and customary to the Mr. Greenwald. So I gave that to Peter a couple of weeks ago. He has his report. He has the emails. You guys have everything as well too. I don't have the whole full report here as some of the deductibles, pretty much I told you guys the first time. I just need permission for Peter to discuss further as far as the final reports. That's the breakdown. And the emails here that I have is pretty much what I explained to my report here, that Connie said that she's matching the final equipment per rental equipment, which we all know this is not actually applied to this point. Now, I got an email from Mr. David that he filed already a lien, which is what, $66,000, something like that? Okay. Well, that's including the heavy equipment that he said to me that take it out for this time. What happened to that? That's a question that I have. Okay, and then he have another email about the seating board that was damaged, and they have to replace that another $3,000-4,000, which to me it's inappropriate and also not professional. I tell you why, because he's going through this and he's keep talking about, you guys signed this, you signed this, but he has his own leisure to do whatever he wants to do on his end to change everything that he wants, even though he doesn't have the other boards. So hold on a second, how does that work? It doesn't work both ways now, right? He says to me here that take the equipment out for now, and we'll talk about this later. That's why I told him over the phone too. Like, if you wanted to send this equipment invoices, more than welcome, the insurance will pay for it. He doesn't do that, number one. Number two, he says that he used party and he did it. Number three, he told me he did the window that he did it. He told me that he did the window. You guys told me he didn't do the window. Okay. Now he says about putting a lien $66,000, when he told me here that he's going to take the heavy equipment out. And now he throws also the seating that was damaged, that he changed for $3,000, which is not in here as well either.
Well,
So,
we paid
also
for that
paid for that
separately.
separately.
so there you go.
And,
So
and
we're
it's
doing-
like 10,000 in interest.
Yeah. So
Because we didn't play it,
Yeah.
but technically you can't charge us interest until the insurance company's done with their
No,
negotiations.
that's all, and I haven't seen interest like that paid when you have disputes right now. That doesn't work that way. His eye probably does. I haven't seen that before in my experience, so. But it's very contradictory things that happens here for what I see. So, I
Do you
just,
have any suggestions as to what we should do?
I wanna tell you guys that I went, last time when I left here, I looked at roof, took some pictures, okay? And here's my concern. If you guys wanna walk with me at the front, there's some lifting singles. When I say lifting, it's not because of the wind, it's because of installation.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So that's another concern that I have. It's not that many, but for what I can see from the road, but there are a few. So now, and this is the thing that you can do. I wanted to ask Peter what I can go from here and send him an email, finally tell him exactly how the insurance is going with this and where it ends, pretty much on our end. As far as you guys go, it's two ways you can do it. You have an attorney, right? You have an attorney yet or not yet, or you thinking about
Well,
it?
we haven't retained them, we're just sending them
Got
things.
it, okay. So if you can please send those with us as well too, because that contradicts exactly what Mr. Travis was talking about, even with his lien. If he says in an email that he will withdraw the heavy equipment, which is, considerable amount of money, it shouldn't be part of the lien. It's what he told me in the emails, so. That's one of them. And two is, he sent you guys invoices for the seating, which he didn't have this on the first 233,000 total invoice. So that's additional to that, for what I understand, right? Is
Yeah.
the 4,000 addition to 233?
Yeah, we paid out of
We paid
our own pockets for that,
27, 23,
yeah.
86 for that.
Okay, you pay for your own podcast, I was not aware of that, okay, no big deal. It is and it's not, but. And this is what's going down to is that, the ONP is the one that he wants mostly, the most, for what I understand, the ONP. But we're already giving the supervision hours, it's exactly the same thing that ONP is. And he doesn't have more than 3 trades, if anything, he has only 1. So, at this point, you have a lot of ammunition to tell him, hey, listen, you know, it's not 3 trades, it's 1, why you use no MP. 2, the hours of you installing the roof 2 weeks, you can't prove it, but we can prove on our end, based on statistics that we have, that people can install a roof for what I saw you guys here. No 1.5 speed per day, but 0.5 due to complexity. So even gets the days more addition to him to do the roof. But if he has the Sunbelt invoices, which at this point, if he didn't send anybody to anybody as far as those invoices, I don't think he even has them. I might be wrong, but I don't know why he will hide something like that. Because with that, we can say, okay, you stay here for 2 weeks. We'll do a supplement, and we'll give him the rest of the money. But at this point, he can't, we can't go with something that it's an if. We'll have to prove it. Is what I told you guys before. I came here and I proved to the insurance that this is damaged roof because of the hail. If I don't have anything to prove to the insurance, I can just keep writing more and more money for any contractor, not just for Mr. Travis, but for anybody. We need to have a proof, and pictures 1,000 words. And also proof of the invoice that he said you use the equipment. I don't have that. But we gave them, I gave Mr. Greenwald the supervision hours, which he doesn't really need to, but you guys requested, no problem, put that. 7 days. Heavy equipment for 7 days, no problem, we'll give that for 7 days as well too. Operator, 7 days, no problem, we'll give that as well too. But not for 2 weeks. Doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, and we didn't even request supervision. They told us a supervisor would be on site. But, so I just had a couple other questions, like, he's charging us for the harnesses. Like, doesn't the company just own the harnesses?
I already included it myself as well too.
Yeah.
It's an additional line item that they're using, and we put that as well too. We'll have that in our estimate as well, the harness. But he used a harness for 6 people, right?
Right.
Yes.
And then there's the, there's like 19, 20, 21, and 22 that we didn't understand, that it's like remove, additional, and they're all different. And it's only extra charges for steep roof.
Mm-hmm. Yes, steep roof has to be applied as well too.
Okay.
Steep roof, yeah. Anything above 712 and above, you will charge in steep roof, yes. That's part of the estimate that we're writing, if that's included as well too. As far as everything, so to make it more simple, everything that's including materials and labor for the roof, it's already been reconciled with the roofer. They don't have no disputes there. The disputes will have the OMP and heavy equipment and time. That's the 3 things that we're disputing right now, the OMP. Even though he didn't use it, right? We'll have that as well, because that's customer reasonable to have that for your crew. It's a lengthy, so it's not 1 day, it's 7 days, and we'll give it for 1 month, the toilet, because that's what it comes up for exactly. So we'll use it for 1 month. So things that he didn't use, we'll still give it to him anyway, but not the whole full length that he's asking for it, because he can't prove it. So you have some inconsistencies here with his estimate. And also the attachments, the emails, I mean, him and Connie, we actually going back and forth, because Connie that earlier.
Well, I noticed, just to go back to the very first page of the very first packet here, where it says Mr. Greenwald is under no obligation to share internal documents, information, or invoices purposely to lower a claim. You're doing it to not lower the claim, to pay the claim.
Exactly.
I mean...
That's it, and then believe me, he's getting uglier and uglier every time I talk to the phone, he's getting uglier on the estimate, telling me I don't know how to write estimates, and then it's just
And then
a couple things he's doing.
he told us that he was leading us down the wrong path.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, everybody is but him, you
Oh,
know.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, this documentation
yeah,
is the way it is.
yeah, so,
Yeah, so the boom wasn't even used to access the cones. It couldn't reach the cones.
and that's what I gave him heavy equipment for 7 days.
You weren't even disputing that, in fact.
Well,
Because-
the con is very high, and
Right.
that's why, as I say again, we're giving 7 days of equipment, which is very reasonable to use equipment for that. Not only the boom lift, but also another heavy equipment, and also operator for each one equipment. It's in our estimate as well too. I didn't take that completely out because he did give me invoices. We're still writing estimates based on logic, based on what he needs to complete the roof. He says that he needs it for 14 days. When I asked him for the invoices to back up, because Mrs. Coney said when I sent her the estimate, and we're going back and forth to reconcile, she said on one of the emails that based on the rental, we're trying to match the quote for rental Sunbelt. And that's what I said, okay, well, if you have those invoices, send it to me, and more than welcome to change those. And that's what Mr. Greenwood said, we're not entitled to send these invoices.
Right.
I can't just write whatever they want to. I just have to prove it to the insurance that I have those invoices to send to the insurance. Because this is what happens. From me, when I write the estimate, okay, if the insurance have the trust on me to go and write estimates, right, based on what I see, what I can prove, then I send it to my manager. The manager approves the estimate, sends it to Peter, or any Peter. It can be any desk adjuster. Peter gets the estimate, the report, everything that I have done from here when I did the inspection, all the way to the report that I sent him the other day. And then he makes a decision based on that. Okay, when he pays it, or writes a check, it goes to a side, it doesn't stop there. From the insurer, it might be, okay, I got the money, I feel, not for you, but in general, they get the money, they install the roof, they fix the rooms, the carpets. In the end of the year, another person above Peter, they get these estimates, they get these documentations, and they go through audit. And they call Peter and they say, hey, we got it here paying for 2 weeks, do you have documentation for that? No. Why did you pay it? Right?
Yeah, and
Well-
even if he was here almost 2 weeks, there were days he wasn't. It rained,
Yeah.
Sundays, you know.
Yeah,
It
understand.
narrows down to
Yeah.
less than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying though is that there is audit happens through the insurance as well too. Somebody above Peter, there's some also looking after the files as well too. It can be randomly picked, it can be actually have somebody assigned for Peter, somebody from Tom, somebody from John, whatever. But everybody gets audited. So he needs to have a proof. I said, yeah, the desk adjuster, or sorry, the field adjuster Damien got the invoice from Mr. Travis, here's the Sunbelt invoices. Oh, okay, well, close down, next case. I can't just give him 14 days if I don't have the invoices. Even now that he doesn't invoice, I still give him 7 days, which is logical, right? 7 days lengthy to install that roof, it's more than logic. Do that, so.
I don't know of any company that reimburses for work done that doesn't have an invoice in hand so that you can justify the payment. Like you said, everyone has to be audited at some point.
In certain
You have a
cases,
legitimate business.
yes. In certain cases, what happened is a lot of contractors buying materials and they kind of upcharge, which is, we know that's part of the trade, what happens, we understand that. And in many cases, we are including heavy equipment or other extra equipment, right, when the work is complex, and we know that. In that case, we don't ask for invoices, because we know we're in a reconciliation with the contractor that it's a reasonable amount of time and a reasonable amount of equipment that they're using. We all know that. If it goes a little bit above, we're like, okay, we'll look the other way. Okay, we're not saying, I need right to the time.
Right.
We'll look the other way. Okay, we said, okay, no problem, we're not gonna argue, because the insured, which is you, in the end, we're going through all this process. So many times before in the past, I have been in situations not as deep as here, but situations where they're using heavy equipment, and I said, come on now, you didn't use it for 7 days, you used it for 3 days. All right, okay, let's put 4. Okay, no problem, we'll do that. But in the case here, he's over exceeding that. I mean, he's overreaching that. I think, in my opinion, because I did the research, I proved it to you guys, I have the links there, you can look yourself as well too. What's the amount of time to install this roof? And he used 6 people. He says he used 6 people. So 6 people times 2 times the time down, decreasing the time for unforeseen things like weather, Sundays, as we said as well too. Okay, you have 7 total days to do that. Okay, no reason for you to be for 14 days.
Well, I think you've been more than fair as far as that goes. I'm just saying that they should provide you with
They should
their
provide
invoice.
so I can give them to the insurance. I can just
Yes.
write whatever I want to.
What is his problem?
I don't know, man.
So then, did Travis get a copy of the final report?
Not yet until I get to
So
the-
Peter will
to
approve
Peter.
it.
Yeah.
We're waiting for
then
this, that's what I
Travis.
wanted to do last week, but you guys couldn't do it,
Yeah.
so I wanted to, everybody here to understand where we
Yeah.
are, and then I write to Travis after Peter's authorization and see what he's thinking from there. Of course, he's not gonna like it, I know that already.
Well, but all
I
this,
don't think he likes
like,
much.
we've got like $10,000 in additional interest because we didn't pay the difference like when it was billed,
Okay, that's fine.
which is a little crazy because we're still, he's supposed to be negotiating with the insurance company and working together on this. And they didn't even get the final report yet. They can't charge us interest until the final
There's
report.
I haven't seen something like that for an interest of, as far as.
Yeah, no
haven't seen
interest
that
at all,
before.
yeah.
So he throws all these things there, I mean, he's been not very nice with me as well through emails, so forth and so on, so.
How concerned should we be about these shingles?
And not too much concern, but there are a few things there that I noticed from what I can see from the ground. Some of the shingles, if they're pressed too much together, they make that triangle lift, which kind of push together, right? Instead of the way they're lifting it this way, this being that way. So if you, last time, I was like, let me wait until maybe that goes down, maybe this time, but it's still there, so. Now, why I mentioned this, and I spoke with my manager about it, he says it's really up to you. I wanted to mention this why, because if the wind comes through here and hits that shingle, it will pretty much detach it. So, and then your roof is high. So have somebody do a repair, he will charge you at least $1,000 because that's dangerous, it's time to change this on one shingle. So, you better know now than later on if it comes along. So with that, along with other things, you have options of calling an engineer. The engineers, their experience on roofs to see if the installation is actually properly done. Because installation also is very, it's very, not tricky, but you need somebody professional doing these jobs. It's because when you have a 3-tab, which is one layer of shingles, versus when you have architectural, which is a couple layers, the nail gun has to be modified such a way that when you nail it, right, it doesn't penetrate the shingle, or at least do it straight. And there's thousands of shingles that we install here. I'm not saying install wrong by any means, but seeing that shingle up there, I don't know, is anything else, anywhere else like that somewhere? I don't know, but I've seen it here for what I see from the road. So I will be not heavily concerned, but we don't know where the shingle's gonna go. Or
With
what's
as
gonna,
much wind as we've been
if the
having.
wind comes through here, if it's gonna stay like that, or it's gonna allow water come through it, I don't know. That's all about how the future's gonna be.
Wonderful.
So, but, you know, there is options there. Options, somebody to check the roof again and look and see if the installation was correctly done and installed right, you know. Somebody seeing that, they might say, hey, you know, we need to take a look. Or maybe they say, it's fine, normal, that's how I think so, but, you know.
Well, I don't think Travis is gonna come back and fix it for us.
Sure not.
Well, it is under warranty.
It
though.
is under warranty, but you know, he'll say, oh, you still owe me money.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a big concern, but over time it might be. You know, right now it doesn't look like it, but if you guys wanna walk around and see a couple shingles looking at the triangle shape, it's because they're squished this way. So that's what it makes that ugly. So, any questions from me? Any concerns? I know you guys are worried about this. I see you guys stressing out about it. It can be stressful. Believe me, I'm stressed with that as well too. Because every time I hear his name or email, I wake up every morning, go work out, cold showers, trying to be all calm and everything. I see this email, I'm like, oh God. Please. You know, I'm stressed as well too. I am. I am with you in the same room, and I'm stressing out even though maybe you don't think I am. You know,
Yeah,
because I don't know where this is gonna go.
yeah, well, so right now, we should send all this to the lawyer, and we should probably retain her. And because she's gotta respond to the lien within so much time.
Yes, I know you told me that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that information that I gave you here today, including the emails, and the one that, we'll put over here, sorry, I forgot your name.
Edie,
That he said over there that does not, Greenwood does not have whatever authority or whatever to give any information out, even though he has it in his invoice. So that's something that the lawyer can actually take that and say, hey, you have an invoice, so we want the customers to know if you guys use that. And right there, I think right there he's gonna be like, ooh, what am I gonna do now? Because he has to submit something from Sunbelt, not just for any rental company. And then we can confirm that with the invoice from Sunbelt, like he did the time that he said he did it, not any other job. Because Sunbelt has to have also invoices as well too, and say, oh yeah, we rent this to this person for 2 weeks, this is how much it took, how much. And they said, his wife Connie also said too that they adjusted the invoice per Sunbelt rentals, which is part of the email as well too.
But like making changes, you
Yeah.
know, and, saying he did the windows and, when we paid for that with a different company and just so many inconsistencies and changing. Like, where does fraud come in?
I'm not an attorney to tell you. I wish I could tell
Right,
you.
but I mean,
and what I know from this, logically speaking, it's not right. It's not right. It's just not, logically speaking, doesn't make no sense. Now, if that's fraud or not, I can't really tell you. I can't really say, yeah, that's fraud. I'm not an expert on those things as legality goes, but that's something for the attorney. You guys to send those, plus your thoughts about what happened here, what transpired here. Not here in this room, but in general, to say like, this is the events that took place, this is what we gathered from the field adjuster, this is his opinions, this is what we have, what do you think? Do we have a case here? What we can do from here? And that's, I think, that's the best way from now to, write a report and set the events that took place and what Mr. Travis reacted and what he did and all this stuff, so. I mean, when he filed a lien, I saw the lien when Mr. David sent me the email, I was like, well, he says he's gonna take the heavy equipment now. Now he has the whole amount. So it doesn't make no sense when he's saying one thing to me and he does something else. So I don't know. He feels that he's entitled to get the whole amount, so. I mean, that's his opinion.
yeah, we looked him up on the internet. He's like a big poker player, like in that
Like a
national
professional
tournaments,
player.
a professional poker player.
I don't know. Maybe that's where his anger comes from. Don't speak with him on Monday. Don't call him on Monday. Call him in the middle of the week. Maybe he forget what happened over the weekend.
Yeah. Maybe he's
So-
trying to recoup some losses.
Maybe, I don't know.
We also haven't done anything as far as the Better Business Bureau or the Attorney
Yes.
General's office.
Yes.
Do you think that we have grounds that we should go forward with that? We
I-
would rather not, but.
Yeah, of course. You don't want anybody to ruin anybody's business, I totally understand that, or ruin his reputation, I totally understand that. I haven't faced that before, I haven't walked that road before for, business bureau, BBB they call it, Better Business Bureau. So I don't know how it works, to give you more,
That'd probably be good advice from our attorney,
Yeah.
and not that.
but if you guys, have a time crunch regarding the lien, I
Yeah,
think you should collect all the information that I gave you, or the information that the last time I gave you, and also put a report together as far as like the experience that you guys have as far as a party, wasn't been here a few days, and the other few days wasn't here. All this stuff, put it collectively together, send it to the attorney, let her or he read it. And he or she, will determine from there how she approach, is it he or she?
She.
How she approach this case here.
yeah.
Okay, so that's what you can do now. I mean, as I said, I added more to the estimate based on 7 days for what the research that I did. So I can't do more. I can go to 233 because I don't have the evidence for that.
Yeah,
So now, at this point, you're waiting for Peter.
I'm waiting for Peter to discuss with him that we'll have the meeting. I gave him all these reports and emails that I have for you guys to have more evidence about what transpired between myself and Mr. Greenwald and Mrs. Connie Greenwald. And then he will ask me I'll ask him, what do we do from here? Because I gave him that estimate that you guys see here, the back, last page of the All-Star. I think it used to be 172 something, it's 179 now, because I gave him another couple extra days reflecting the heavy equipment of the operator, that's what it keeps him warm.
So there is a chance that they will be paying a little bit more.
No, there's a chance, I gave them that, that's my
Okay.
final.
So that.
That will
okay.
be addition to 172, it will be 179 now,
Okay,
the top number. Because I did the calculations, and I find out that I give him another couple of days for unforeseen things, just to check and do things like that. So we'll give him 7 days total.
Well, hey, thank you again.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.